Hey, this is Wookie from Mandala Studios. Welcome to the workshop. Today we're taking you through how we made a flocked beast mask. So to start with, we do a quick cast. We didn't record this, but all it is pour some latex into one of our molds, leave it for an hour, leave it dry, trim it out. And that's it. So then we've got left with the mask you can see here, and you can see we're just going to paint it up with some basic base colours for underneath the fur that's going to be flocked on. So black nose, and then just a mid-grey for where the fur will be. This is just acrylic paint mixed with some prosthetic, which is an acrylic prosthetic adhesive. Just like half prosthetic adhesive, half paint. Basically it's a cheaper version of PAX because we're not using Prosaid, but prosthetic's basically the same, just different brand. And then just quickly layer on a layer of brown paint, a brown grey paint over the whole surface, so that any gaps through the flocking will show through as the skin colour. You could use a darker colour to look like certain skins, and pinky skins or browny skins, whatever you wanted, whatever you think will make the fur over the top look like the effect you're going for. Just neaten up around the nose. There we go, now just leave it to dry. Now onto the flocking. So to start with, we want to just earth the piece. And then we're going to cover the entire thing in prosthetic again. And we just pour it into a little cup and just brush it over. This will destroy your brushes quite quickly, so we have a supply of just cheap washers. You just want to get the whole thing covered in a nice even layer. You want to let it build up with a bit of thickness so that the flock has something to stick into. And despite my best attempts to earth it and do it in where you could see, I've decided to do this off the top of the screen, sorry. Yeah, it's just a quick layer. Then I always leave it a little bit, then add a second layer with the brush strokes going in the opposite direction where possible. I just want to build up, like I said, a bit of a thickness. Some people use cream latex for this. I find 2 layers, cream Prosaid, sorry, to give it that thickness. I find a couple of layers of thin works out fine. You can see it's pretty even. And there we have it earthed again. So now we're going to mix up some flock for the colours we want. I want a bit of white to start with, because that's long white. So generally, as a rule of thumb when you're doing flocking, you want to start from long going to short and from light going to dark. So I've just added some white longer fur around the edges, as you can see there. That was about 8mm long, I think. Now we're going to mix up some pewter 2mm. Put that in the little cup, put your foot on the pedal and give it a go. I'm just shaking the whole thing off, and I've done it without power, and that wafts that over. Now we get some very short black and just waft that over as well, just to fill in any gaps and make it look a bit more interesting. You note I put a bit more around the muzzle area rather than the edges, so it gives it a bit more gradiented texture. Now I'm taking a very soft makeup brush and I'm just brushing the fur out very slightly to give some nap to the direction of the fur. Some people would use air for this, but I don't have air supply handy, so a very soft brush, just gently teasing those fibres over. Pull out the earthing. Then a bit later I come back in and do the same thing again when it's a bit more glue set, so that evens that out. Now onto the airbrushing. For this I'm just using a bit of black, just quickly into the shadows and the recesses to give the muzzle and the sculpt textures some shape. We're just using a water-based acrylic ink. And there you go. See, you've just added some more depth and tone to the whole thing.